Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a puppy fundraiser helps Canine Stray Rescue, and the Michigan Athletic Association honors one of Oxford's own.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. More than 150 people strolled the downtown streets for the Lone Ranger Posse, sponsored by Pub Crawl. In connection with the downtown businesses, the Posse reported nearly $2,000 was raised to support the upcoming Lone Ranger Parade on Saturday, August 4th.
Wood Trail, the Oxford Township subdivision road between Drainer and Indianwood roads, has been closed since late February due to a culvert collapse. As of last week, work to replace the failed culvert has begun, and plans are to reopen by Friday, June 22nd. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Oxford resident Don Maskell was recently honored by the Michigan High School Athletic Association with a 40-year service award. The award was given at the organization's 39th annual Officials Awards and Alumni Banquet in East Lansing. Maskell is the assistant principal at Hart Middle School in Rochester Hills and has spent 4 decades officiating high school wrestling matches.
There's a Pet-a-Pup fundraiser on Saturday, June 2nd for folks longing to have some pet playtime. Puppies will be available to pet and play from noon to 3 at the 925 Legacy Center. The Canine Stray Rescue League is also bringing in some of the puppies for adoption. Canine Academy of Oxford is sponsoring the event and has trained Rescue League adoptees. There will be food, music, a raffle throughout the fundraiser, and there's no cost to attend.
Great job on the Pet-a-Pup, Terry. More than 80 people gathered at Oxford United Methodist Church for a Royal Celebration Tea fundraiser. The fundraiser raised more than $3,000 donations to benefit the church attendees sip tea with their lunch as they watched the royal wedding.
That's it for Oxford News This Week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, you can catch us on our website at occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular channels, Spectrum Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up on OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the Sports Report, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
This spring on OCTV, your home for all Wildcat sports.
Weekdays 4 to 6:30 and weekends 12:30 to 6:30.
OCTV Sports, where it's more than just about the score.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, China is getting ready for a trip to the far side of the moon. On May 21st, the China National Space Administration launched a satellite that will relay information between Earth and a planned moon lander and rover, both set to launch in late 2018. The satellite, called Che-Chao, which means Magpie Bridge, launched from southwest China's Xichang Satellite Launch Center aboard a Long March 4C rocket. Chang'e 4, the moon lander, will be the first spacecraft to ever land on the far side of the moon if all goes to plan. Because the far side is always facing away from Earth, the lander will not be able to communicate directly with its operators. Any commands sent to it or data sent back would be blocked by the moon itself. To solve that problem, a satellite that sets in line of sight between both the lander and Earth's surface is needed to relay information back and forth. There is a special spot in space that's ideal for that, called Lagrange 2, which is about 64,000 kilometers past the moon. At that spot, the combined gravity of the Sun and Earth counteract the forces that could tug an object out of orbit. It's a perfect spot to park a spacecraft because it can sit there without constantly firing its thrusters. It's also a place particularly well suited for Chang'e. From Lagrange 2, the satellite will have a view of the entire far side when the Moon passes in front of the Earth. Chang'e will be placed into a halo orbit that circles Lagrange 2 so that it will still have time to sight Earth even when the Moon blocks out part of the planet. Chang'e is expected to reach that orbit around May 29th, and after that, it'll be a 6-month testing period to make sure that all systems are still working. Good luck. In our next story, not encouraging the right germs during the first year of life may be one of the main causes of the most common forms of childhood leukemia. Mel Greaves at the Institute of Cancer Research in London has suggested that acute lymphoblastic leukemia could be prevented by priming infants' immune systems by exposing them to harmless microbes. In a review of more than 30 years of research, Greaves has concluded that acute lymphoblastic leukemia is most likely triggered by a variety of infections in children who are predisposed to the disease because their immune systems have not been properly primed. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia is rare, affecting around 1 in 2,000 children in the UK a year. It's more common in affluent societies, and a wide range of possible triggers have been proposed, from radiation exposure to chemical pollutants. But Greaves thinks the condition is caused by a 2-step process of genetic changes that lead children to have abnormally formed immune systems. The first step is a genetic predisposition to acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which it has been suggested may be caused by an infant not having the chance to develop their immune system properly. The trigger for the second step might be a common infection such as seasonal flu. Historical records show spikes in childhood leukemia can follow 6 months after flu epidemic peaks. If a lack of exposure to microbes in early life plays a key role in acute lymphoblastic leukemia, it could explain why babies that aren't breastfed, do not mix with other children, or in nurseries are born by cesarean section, or do not have siblings, are more likely to develop the disease. The hygiene hypothesis is famous for positing that modern lifestyles mean we get fewer infections, which make us more likely to develop a range of conditions, including allergies and immune disorders. But the hypothesis is often misinterpreted as suggesting that rich nations are too clean. It is now thought that the real issue is a lack of exposure to a diverse array of relatively harmless microbes. Cleanliness, however, is necessary to prevent the spread of potentially serious infections like norovirus and food poisoning. This new study suggests that early exposure to infection may be beneficial in some children with a genetic predisposition to childhood leukemia. However, this still needs further investigation, and any exposure of young children to infection has to be balanced with the risk of the infection, says Donna Lancaster, a pediatric oncologist at the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust. In the future, there may be ways to develop an immunization which mimics this process in order to prevent leukemia from developing. At a press briefing, Greaves said parents should in no way be blamed for children developing leukemia, but he urged them to encourage contact between their babies and as many other children as possible in the first year of life. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
What's up, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's sports report. Well, it's just about that time of year. Spring sports are just about over, and we do make the transition into summer. We will have senior softball, Little League, the Seymour Lake Park lacrosse tournament, and the Tough Mudders are coming back once again. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. Not to mention the warm weather, though. Anyhow, we still have a few sports for this spring season. So let's just dive in and see how things went this last week. First off, boys baseball played very well all around the table on the 22nd. Varsity and JV both took on Avondale in the doubleheaders. Varsity played here at our home diamond and took the first game by a long shot, 9-1. The second was much closer, but we still managed to come out on top. Final score was 2-1. The JV club was on the road in their matches, absolutely dominating, letting no runs in both games. Final scores 13-0 and 10-0. The freshman club also had a doubleheader that same day, however, it was on the road against Stony Creek. Out of the two, we pulled out with a win 7-3, and the other game ended in a tie 8-8. Still better than a loss, so I think it's safe to say the day was a full-out success for Wildcat baseball all around. On the 24th, the JV and freshman club both played. Once again, JV took on Romeo on the road, taking the win 17-5. Freshmen here at home wrapping it up well with a 6-2 win, and that would give the boys an undefeated week around the table. So it was a very good week for boys baseball. As we know, the girls softball team is unstoppable this season. I think we are a ways away from seeing the last of them. They took on Walled Lake Northern this week here at home. Once again, varsity faced a doubleheader and took the first game with a major win 10-0, not letting in a single run. The second game was a lot closer, but our girls stuck with it and kept bringing the runs in. The final score ended with us on top 7-6. And last but certainly not least, the girls soccer team played on the 23rd here at home, taking on Fenton. Varsity took the win in a close match that ended 1-0. However, JV did fell short by slim margin, struggling to get away with anything past Fenton's goaltender. Final score was 2-0. Like I said, we are just about through with this spring season, so these sports are whittling off as the weeks go by. Not a whole lot to report on this week, but the news overall was very good, and we have a lot to look forward to as the summer season rolls on in. For more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of game breakdowns, statistics, and more all right there for you at oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which can be accessed through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. And that's going to do it for me this week, folks. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I am Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
On Friday, it's Fish Day at the American Legion in Oxford. It runs from noon to 8, and we will have over 300 of our best friends enjoying our fish and our carryout. Sure, we have checked it out, and we have found that we have the best cod and walleye in Michigan. Want dessert? It's all homemade by our auxiliary ladies for just $1. For your vets, we have hats, just $5. On the bar side, here's some of our friends. Hi, everybody! On the museum side, some more friends. Hi again! Where you can check out one of the best military museums in the state. All Friday at the American Legion from noon to 8 at 130 East Drainer Road in Oxford.
Hi, I'm Rachel Baker, and welcome to OCTV's weekly calendar of events, where we feature community activities and family outings around Oxford, Leonard, and Lake Orion. If you or your organization would like us to get your message out to the public, please contact us for more information at our studio. Our number is 248-628-9658, or go to our website at OCCTV.org. Ladies and gentlemen, the summer is fully underway, and concerts in the park are starting up soon. On June 14th, the Lonely Days Band will feature Bernadette Catherine at 7 p.m. in Centennial Park. Stop by and enjoy the music. Also, on June 1st, come and hear a tale of two trails. Learn how West Bloomfield Trail and the fledgling Michigan Airline Trail are linking communities together. As more communities realize the importance of trails, it's essential to take note of the countless other benefits of them as well. The speakers will address the economic, historical, and infrastructural benefits on June 1st at the Griffin Sports Bar and Grill on Haggerty Road from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Come on down to the Michigan Works Workshop in Southfield at the Civic Center. This workshop is designed for individuals who are at the beginning stages of starting a business. It will help aspiring entrepreneurs assess their abilities to lead and manage a company, as well as evaluate market and sales potential for their products and services. Startup costs, financing options, and business planning systems are introduced, as long as the necessary steps to get started. If you have any questions, please call 248-858-0783 or email smallbusiness@oakgov.com. The Michigan Memorial Highway Act is now amended to name the bridge on the Pollyant Trail crossing over M24 in Oxford as the Larry Obrecht Bridge. Larry Obrecht was a Pollyant Trail promoter and will be honored with a dedication ceremony. Join in on Saturday, June 2nd from 10 a.m. to noon. Parking is at the West Trail Lot, the North Trail Lot, the Oxford Village offices, and along Denniston Street. The Legacy Center is also hosting the first annual Pet-a-Pup adoption event headed by the Canine Academy. Join in on the fun on Saturday, June 2nd from 12 to 3 p.m. There will be the Great Dogs by Canine Academy and adoptable puppies from Canine Stray Rescue League. There will be raffles, drawings, music, food, and plenty of fun. Remember, these rescues need your support. Finally, the Tough Mudder competition is running on June 2nd and 3rd. It's the second season bringing Tough to Koenig Sand and Gravel to Tough Mudder, Michigan. On Saturday, the event will run from 8:45 to 1:30 p.m., so come on down to watch. This is your local community calendar, and I'm your host, Rachel Baker. Please join us again for your weekly calendar of events.
On Schooling Around, we don't just school around. We get with everyone from the superintendent to the kids to find out what's new in Oxford schools. Schooling Around, only on OCTV.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the new four-cylinder engine option for General Motors 2019 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500 pickups will test the loyalty and perceptions of pickup buyers who associate inline fours with compact cars. A four-cylinder engine in a full-size pickup was unimaginable a decade ago. But advancements in engineering as well as Ford Motor Company's success with its V6 EcoBoost engines have proved that V8 engines aren't necessarily the default choice for pickup buyers. The question now is, how low can you go? The 2.7-liter inline-four turbo engine is a major milestone for GM. It's the first four-cylinder engine in a modern-day full-size pickup and the first engine in a pickup that's capable of running on, count them, 2 cylinders. The engine is rated at 310 horsepower and 348 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission and will be standard on the new Silverado RST and popular Silverado LT, replacing the 4.3-liter V6 that's rated at 285 horsepower and 305 pound-feet of torque. GM believes the engine will help it lead in fuel efficiency against Ford's aluminum body F-150 with a V6, EcoBoost engines, and redesigned Ram 1500 with a mild hybrid system. GM didn't release mileage estimates for the engine, exact payload, and towing specifications, or details about its availability and capabilities in the Sierra. Based on GM's expectations and the promise of increased performance compared with previous engines, IHS market analyst Stephanie Brinley said she believes the pickup buyers won't mind the 4 cylinders. I think that consumers will look past it and look at what the end result performance is, she said, after driving the pickup. And again, it's important that it's not intended to be the volume V8 engine. That's a different animal. Sandor Pizar, Chevrolet Truck Marketing Director, said that even with the new engine, the company expects V8 offerings to account for about 90% of Silverado sales, including 80% for the 5.3-liter V8. At Ford, the 3.5-liter and 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 engines together account for 72% of F-150 sales, and the 5-liter V8 accounts for 24%. Jeff Luke, Global Director of Gasoline Engines at GM, says it's very possible the new 4-cylinder eventually could replace the traditional V6 in the pickups. According to GM, the new engine powers the Silverado from 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 7 seconds and trims the truck's weight by 380 pounds compared with the current model with the 4.3-liter V6. GM says it's expected to deliver comparable payload capability to competitors' trucks, and that's about 2,000 pounds, with greater torque than the 3.3-liter V6 in the Ford F-150 XLT and the 3.6-liter V6 in the Ram 1500 Bighorn. All engines in the next-generation Silverado and Sierra pickups, which are expected to go into production in the third quarter, features GM's active fuel management system that can operate in 2 different cylinder modes, or its dynamic fuel management technology that continuously adjusts the number of cylinders firing down to 2 in various combinations based on performance needs. It is GM's first use of active fuel management system in a 4-cylinder engine, and the technology reduces the number of cylinders in use to 2 in light load conditions. Overall, GM is offering 6 engines and 3 transmissions, 6, 8, and 10-speed for the 2019 Silverado and Sierra. In our next story, Canadian global supplier Magna International is partnering with Japan's Renesas Electronics Corporation to develop a more cost-efficient 3D surround view system designed for entry-level and mid-range vehicles. The two say the new camera will allow automakers to spread the 3D camera technology more broadly throughout their lineups. An unmanned European automaker will be the first to integrate the 3D surround view system into a future vehicle, the company said in a joint statement on May 17th. The technology, announced May 17th, will combine Magna's 3D surround view camera system and Renesas system-on-a-chip technology, which integrate the camera into the vehicle's computer systems. The system provides drivers a realistic 360-degree view of the environment surrounding the vehicle, and Magna calls it a significant upgrade to the bird's-eye view offered by existing parking assist systems. Drivers can adjust the view of their surroundings with an onboard interface, while object detection alerts drivers about obstacles in their path. The system minimizes integration time and development cost, making the system an easy, cost-efficient option for automakers, Magna said. Shinichi Yoshioka, Senior Vice President of Renesas Automotive Solution Business Unit, called the partnership an important step in delivering cost-efficient 3D surround view system across vehicle classes. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.